Hi, I'm Tommy and welcome back for part 2. So as you can see, the top is all ready to go. I still have a few coats to put on, but like it's all dried up. I'm doing 600 grit paper and I'm applying the finish. At the back here, that's where this top is going to go, so I can actually start removing the plywood that's on there and getting everything prepped up for this top. So that's what I'm going to be starting right now. Here you have a view of the inside. The whole unit was made out of fir and it's all reclaimed, so it was all free, so that's why I'm using this material. So what I want to do is go from here and put like a cross piece, put a center cross piece as well with a brace at the back, so I can start putting all my shelvings. And then when the shelving's done, I'll be able to put the top and then start working on the doors. So this is the bottom rail, and I have to be careful where I'm going to put my screws because I've got two here. I don't know if you can see the plugs, but I have to go on each side of those. I've added some side pieces here, like this one, same thickness. And I screwed them in from the end here. That way I'll be able to put my hinges for my doors. I also put a trim here to hold the plywood, and I went ahead and I already trimmed down the plywood that I had on top to fit inside here. So I'm going to go ahead and put them in. And then I'll just use some brad nails to put them in place here. And after that, I'm going to put a front trim with glue just to stiffen everything up. Now that the plywood is all nailed down, I already went ahead and cut my front pieces that's going to go here. But the width of this one is actually bigger than the thickness here. So what I want to do is trim them lengthwise. Before I do that, I need to move the top, so that's what I'm going to be doing right now. I'm going to put the top on there, and then I'll be able to trim those ones. So I've got my piece here, and I'm going to put it in here, but before I do that, I want to put some glue because that's going to help with the strength of it, the whole assembly. And then I'm just going to put it in there, try to line it up with the top here, then put a brad right in there. So now that the front is all ready for the doors, what I want to do is center the top onto the frame itself. So I'll take a measurement from the front and then the back to center it this way, and then the same for the other side, so I can center it the other way. And then what I'll do, I'll use my frame to fasten the top, and I'll use some 3-inch screws to screw it from underneath. So the top is all centered. So what I'll do is make sure there's no gap onto the between the frame and the top. Just clamp it here, nice and tight. Then what I'll do is just screw it from underneath. So I'll put 4 screws at the front. Then I'll move my little clamp to the other side and do the same here. So the front part of the outfeed table is screwed to the frame. Before I put the screws on the back side, I have to make sure that the screw won't line up with the routing channels I'm going to have to make for the miter slide. So therefore I'm going to have to take a measurement from the side here, and my outfeed table is going to be the same. That's the same starting point for my outfeed table. And then I'm going to take a measurement for those 2 tracks, and then I'll be able to make sure there's no screws that's going to be popping where I'm going to be routing the channel. Something else I want to be careful with is this piece here. This is for the blade guard, the plastic guard that goes on top here. I never use that, so I'm going to have to make a hole onto the back of the outfeed table just so I'm able to slide in it when I assemble the whole thing together. So the top is all fastened, so the next step is to start doing the doors. So I already pre-cut all the reclaimed wood that I had. I kind of tried to remove most of the knots, and what I want to do is keep basically the same style that I have with the top for the door. So I'm going to have laminated pieces together, and then on top and bottom I'm going to have a piece just like I did, like a tongue and groove piece for the top and bottom. So that should keep something similar with the whole assembly. First of all though, I need to resaw most of my pieces because they're pretty thick, and then once the resawing is done, I'll plane them down to close to 3/4 of an inch, because that's going to be my end thickness, and I'm going to start gluing my panels. A good thing about the doors themselves, they're going to be just shy of 12.5, which is the width of my planer. So I'll be able to use my planer to thickness them after the glue up. So that's going to be a good thing. So those are all the parts for the doors. As you can see, there's a lot of difference in the colors, and what I did, I spent a few minutes trying to organize them so that this door would be symmetrical to the door over at the other end, and that this one would be symmetrical to the one in the center, like the 2 center ones would be. Like basically trying to do a mirror image. That's what I was trying to go for. I didn't want to end up like with a heavy kind of pinkish color at one end and a whitish in the middle or somewhere. So this way there's somewhat of a flow. So hopefully it turns out okay. So I'm ready for the glue up, so that's going to be my next step. So the glue up of the 4 doors is done. So all I have to do now is put them in the planer. Before I do that, I just resawed some material to do the top and the bottom rail. And I'm going to plane those down to roughly this thickness, and then I'll be able to plane everything at the same time, which is going to give me the proper thickness for everything. So I just measured the opening here to make sure that my door were gonna be okay. So I need 24 inches wide here by about 25 inch tall. So here I've got my bottom and top pieces that I want to put on my doors, and those are going to be tongue and groove inside here. So that's going to be a 1/4 inch tongue and groove. So I've just adjusted my cutter bit. So that's the fence, so I adjusted a 1/4 inch deep this way, and then I raised it to a 1/4 inch from the surface of the table. The test piece that I have here is a 3/4 inch left over from the panel section that I have. So basically, when I route it this way and I flip the piece over, I get pretty much the same centerpiece. There's just sliver that comes out of the second pass. So before I do the other ones, I want to do a test fit to make sure that I'm doing okay. So all those little end grain little things I have to kind of sand off, and they fall off pretty easily. And same on the other side. And then I'm gonna try that piece here. So there's no gap here. I'm pretty happy with that. Sitting all the way in. So basically what I'll need is just a few clamps, and I'll be able to glue that up. So in my shop I like to use real wood for handles, so those ones are mahogany, and I really like how they look. I don't have any more of that material right now for the handles for the new unit, so I'm gonna go have a look in all my scrap to see what I've got. So at the bottom of a rack, a wood rack, I found this piece of spalted oak, and I totally forgot about that leftover piece. It was part of a bigger piece that I used to make the handle on my mallet. So as you can see, like there's like dark veins, and I think it's gonna look pretty nice for the little door handles. So I'm gonna go on the planer and plane that down to the thickness similar to the ones I just showed you, and then I'll cut them in little handle blanks and see how that looks. I find that the easiest way to put the doors on, or actually to put the hinges on the back end of it, and then what I did is I made sure I was level from the top, and then I spaced out the height that I wanted for my doors, and I leveled it as well. So now I know that my panels are level with the top and within themselves. On those ones here, I had an issue with the center kind of sagging towards one another, so I just added like an 18 gauge shims that I had in my shims, and seems to have resolved that issue. On this one I'm fine, so I'm gonna start putting the screws in. So I'm just gonna push the hinges where I want it to be, So the unit is completely done. In the next video you'll see me putting the miter slides in, the tracks for the miter slide, and then I'll start moving my table saw over to that corner and the outfeed table there as well. And then you're going to see me starting to reorganize. But for now, I just want to thank you guys for watching the video, and I hope you see you guys again.